Welcome everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Clarity for Sure. This is time for another DCMCQ session. So here in this session we'll be again discussing the top 10 MCQs of the day, which is very important for your examination. But before we move forward, please do subscribe our YouTube channel, follow us on Telegram as well for daily updates. So let's start our today's session with very first question, that is related to periodic labor force survey of the year 2023 to 2024. So the question is, India's literacy rate has reached 80.9% for individual aged 7 years and above as reported in the periodic labor force survey PLFS of the year 2023 to 24. Despite this progress, significant disparities persist across gender and urban rural lines. Consider the following statement with respect to this particular report. This is our question. Let's see our statement. There are three statements given over here. We will go through each and every statement one by one. The first one is, Bihar stands with the lowest literacy rate states in the age group of 7+ category. 7+ category. Then there is Mizoram and Lakshadweep are among the highest literacy that under the 7+ years category states UTs. Periodic labor force survey released by NSSO, that is National Sample Survey of Office under the Ministry of Education. These were our three statements. So first of all, let's see what is the report is telling about. So first we'll go through the report. Fine. So this particular news was covered in our DCA initiative. Fine. That is Daily Current Affairs of June 3rd of June 2025. Fine. So let's see what is the key finding of this survey, of this report. See, as you can see here, as per this report, when it comes to the age group of 7+ category, Mizoram, Lakshadweep and Kerala are among the top of the tables. They performed very well. Then there are three states naming Bihar, MP and Rajasthan. They are in the bottom of table. And similarly, under the age group of 5+, Mizoram, Lakshadweep and Kerala again top the table under the category of 5+ year. Fine. And then there are again Bihar, MP and Rajasthan who are again in the bottom of the table when it comes to this particular report. Then there is another thing here you must notice, there is gender literacy gap. Gender literacy gap, Rajasthan, Bihar and MP have the highest gender literacy gap. Then there are three states naming Mizoram, Tripura, Kerala. Those are having lowest gender literacy gap. Fine. Rural urban literacy gap, MP, UP, Bihar are there with highest rural urban literacy gap. Then there are Kerala, Tripura and Mizoram who are among the least rural urban literacy gap. So this is it for this particular report. So according to this report, we'll solve our MCQs. So our first question was, Bihar stands with lowest literacy rate states in the age group of 7+ category. Yes, Bihar stands with lowest along with whom? MP and Rajasthan, I guess. Yes, Rajasthan. Was it Rajasthan? Yes, I guess so. It was Rajasthan. Fine. See, here you can see Bihar, MP and Rajasthan among the least performing state when it comes to the age group of 7+ category. Fine. Bihar, MP and Rajasthan among the lowest literacy rate states. Then there are Mizoram and Lakshadweep along with Kerala who are among the highest literacy states and UTs under the 7+ category and 5+ category as well. And then there is periodic labor force survey 23-24 released by National Sample Survey Office under Ministry of Education. You guys tell me this statement is correct or not. because there is a organization naming National Sample Survey Office is being used. Fine, and this particular organization is obviously not under Ministry of Education. This much of knowledge you must have knowing कि NSSO, that is National Sample Survey Office, is obviously not under Ministry of Education because it is talking about survey, sample survey. So how can be they under the Ministry of Education? They are talking about survey, they are talking about sample survey. Fine. So obviously there is a ministry called, just a second, there is a ministry called Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So NSSO, that is National Sample Office, National Sample Survey Office, is under Ministry of what? Statistics and Program Implementation, not under Ministry of Education. So that's why this statement is incorrect. Our correct answer here will be what? Option number 3. Here you can see clearly, it is clearly written over here कि according to what is the source of this particular report. So the source of this periodic labor force survey 23-24 released by whom? NSSO, National Sample Survey Office, under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, not under the Ministry of Education. Fine. That's it for this particular question. Let's move back on question, and our next question is related to digital rupee. Fine, digital rupee. So the digital rupee launched as a pilot in late 2022 by the Reserve Bank of India has witnessed significant scale up in just 2 years. In just 2 years, retail transaction value rose from 5.7 crore in March 2023 to 1016.5 crore. That is a huge number in March 2025. A 178x increase. Fine. This marks the transition of e-rupees from an experimental phase to the meaningful retail adoption. Consider the following statement with respect to digital rupee. So what is digital rupee? First of all, it is a form of rupee, it is a form of currency which is digitally present. Fine. And those are officially recognized by whom? RBI. Fine. So what is digital rupee? Digital rupee is basically जैसे हमारे पास करेंसी है, those are hard currency. फाइन, और उसी का एक फॉर्म है, वो है सॉफ्ट करेंसी, विच आर प्रेजेंट इन आवर ई वॉलेट्स. जो ई वॉलेट्स हम यूज़ करते हैं फाइन डिजिटल पेमेंट्स के लिए, वहाँ पे प्रेजेंट रहती है, मतलब वहाँ से हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं. वी कैन यूज दिस बाय स्टोरिंग इन ई वॉलेट्स. फाइन, इट इज़ अ फॉर्म ऑफ डिजिटल rupee, it is a form of rupee which is digitally present in our e-wallets, and those are officially recognized by RBI. Fine. So this is the basic concept of digital rupee. So let's see our statement. First one is, it is a legal tender in digital form. Obviously digital form, और digital rupee की बात हो रही है तो digital form में obviously mirroring the value of physical rupee. Mirroring the value, what does that mean? It means कि फिजिकल रूपी जो है हमारे पास, उसी की तो एक मिरर वैल्यू है, ये मिरर इमेज है ये. फाइन. एक हमारे पास डिजिटल करेंसी, सॉरी हार्ड करेंसी है, उसी का एक मिरर इमेज है ये, दैट इज डिजिटल रूपी, और हैविंग द सेम वैल्यू which are present in the physical rupee. फाइन. फिजिकल रूपी का जो वैल्यू है, दो डिजिटल रूपी का भी सेम वैल्यू है. सो दोज आर द मिरर वैल्यू ऑफ मिरर इमेज ऑफ हार्ड करेंसी, एंड दे आर बैक्ड बाय RBI. इट इज अ वेरी जनरल स्टेटमेंट. फाइन, इट इज अ वेरी जनरल स्टेटमेंट. Let's see our next statement. It is available 24/7 even outside banking hours. See, as far as digital banking or services of digital banking like NEFT or RTGS, that is real time gross settlement, are concerned, तो डिजिटल बैंकिंग का कॉन्सेप्ट ही यही है कि दोज आर अवेलेबल, दो सर्विसेज आर अवेलेबल इवन आउटसाइड द बैंकिंग आवर्स. दैट इज द बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ डिजिटल बैंकिंग और डिजिटल रुपी. अगर वो बैंकिंग आवर्स के आउटसाइड मतलब भी अवेलेबल नहीं होंगे तो ऑब्वियसली दे आर नॉट डिजिटल, दे आर ऑब्वियसली फिजिकल. दोज कम्स अंडर ब्रांच बैंकिंग, नॉट डिजिटल बैंकिंग. फाइन. So rupees, as far as digital services are concerned, those are available 24/7 into 24/7 into 365 days. So those are obviously available 24/7 even outside banking hours. Fine. This is the basic concept of this. This is the basic concept of digital banking or digital services. Correct. Digital rupee or e-rupees is India's only official digital currency. Here only word is used. Again I am telling you the same thing. I have used this word ki it is in most of the cases, not all the time. Exception is always there. It is not all the time incorrect. Fine. So statement पढ़े बिना सिर्फ only के basis पे आप इन statement को incorrect mark please ना करें. ऐसा ना हो कि यहाँ पे only पढ़ के आपने सिर्फ incorrect mark कर दिया and then you'll go here, eliminate all the option which containing C, option C, and here will be the correct answer. This is not the correct method. Fine. Unless and until you are sure about those statement, first of all read the statement and you must be sure before eliminating this option in the basis of only. Obviously these are very extreme in nature. These are very extreme statement in nature. The word all, whenever the word all and only are used, in most of the cases they are tends to incorrect, but in some cases they are obviously correct. Here in this case digital rupee is India's only official digital. I have used the word official. It is only official digital currency. Obviously there is no other digital currency which is backed by RBI and which is the official currency of India. Fine. So for that reason this statement is also correct and this is completely different from cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency से ये बिल्कुल ही अलग है and cryptocurrency are not backed by RBI. Fine. They are not backed by RBI. So the correct answer here will be option number. All the options are correct. So the correct answer will be option number 4. All are correct. Fine. Let's see our next question. The question number 3. So let's see some of the important thing about RBI. Sorry, digital rupee. Fine. So here it is. India's retail central bank digital currency, that is CBDCR or e-rupees. Fine. Storage. It can be stored in e-wallets. Digitally, it is present in our phones. Obviously. It is of availability. It is available 24/7 into 365 days because of the digital nature of this currency. No interest will be used. No interest will be levied if the transactions are done in the form of digital rupee. Then there is denominations. Fine. That's it for digital currency. Our digital rupee. Let's move back to our next question, that is question number 3. That is Gramin Credit Score is a new initiative announced in the Union Budget of 2025 to 26 by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Consider the following statements with respect to Gramin Credit Score. So what is Gramin Credit Score? It is basically an assessment tool. Assessment tool help to analyze the paying capacity of the borrower, fine, in the rural areas, especially for self-help groups, fine. This is a assessment tool which will help to assess the capacity, the paying capacity of an individual or group like self-help group in order to in order to maintain transparency among the credit facilities. Fine. See, सबसे बड़ी इशू क्या आती है रूरल एरियाज में? फाइन, कि बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो बेसिक बैंकिंग फैसिलिटीज अवेल नहीं कर पा रहे. फाइन, एंड फॉर दैट रीजन they do not have any bank accounts or they do not have any credit score because of उन्होंने कभी भी ऑफिशियल या ऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर से लेंडिंग नहीं की है. फाइन, तो उनका क्रेडिट स्कोर नहीं है. सो फॉर दोज ग्रुप्स दिस क्रेडिट स्कोर हैज बीन मेड कि इससे असेसमेंट की जाएगी कि दोज पर्सन आर कैपेबल ऑफ पेइंग व्हाट अमाउंट ऑफ loan back if they have provided the loan by bank or NBFCs. Fine, this is the concept of Grameen credit score. So let's see our statement. There are 3 statements present over here. The first one it aims to strengthen rural financial inclusion. Obviously rural financial inclusion, because the term state itself, it is talking about Grameen means rural financial inclusion. Fine, it is providing a ecosystem where basic financial facilities can be availed by the masses with a special focus on self-help groups, as I told, members. Fine, this is the correct statement. The second one, the GCS will act as a supplementary credit assessment tool, especially tailored primarily to rural borrowers. Obviously रूरल borrowers, because it is talking about ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में, बिकॉज सबसे ज़्यादा जहाँ पे बेसिक बैंकिंग फैसिलिटीज़ अवेलेबल नहीं होती है वो है रूरल एरियाज. ऑब्वियसली, तो दिस फ्रेमवर्क विल हेल्प टू असेस द फैसिलिटी ऑफ क्रेडिट स्कोर इन प्राइमरीली इन रूरल एरियाज, रूरल borrowers. Correct statement. The Grameen credit score is being developed by the Ministry of Rural Development. Obviously, इसमें कोई दो राय है ही नहीं. फाइन, इट इज टॉकिंग, शुरू से ही हम लोग एक ही वर्ड यूज करते आ रहे हैं, रूरल ग्रामीण. तो ऑब्वियसली दिस इज अंडर द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ रूरल डेवलपमेंट. इसमें क्या है? सो दिस हियर द करेक्ट ऑप्शन इज ऑप्शन नंबर 5. So let's see some of the important thing related to Grameen credit score. Fine. So here you can see Grameen credit score is there. The aim of this credit score is boosting rural financial inclusion. Announcing Union Budget 25 to 26 by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Expected rollout in 3 months pending RBI approval. Tailored credit scoring for self-help groups and rural borrowers. Fill the gap left by CIBL and CRIF, etc. Empowering rural India with greater credit access. Help banks and NBFC to access creditworthiness. creditworthiness कि कौन सा जो ग्रुप है, कौन सा जो इंडिविजुअल है is capable of paying back what about of loan if he or she has been provided the amount by bank or NBFC is underbanked area, in underbanked areas. That is underbanked area जहाँ पे basic banking facilities present ना हो. Fine, those areas under this will function under those areas, in those areas. Fine, that's it for this particular question. Let's move back to our next question, that is designing future society of our lives is the theme of which of the following? Is it COP 30? It is the theme. Fine, it is the theme, and the question is कि it is the theme of which of the following? Is it the theme of COP 30, World Expo 2025, G20 Summit, OPEC Summit, or is it of COP 28? Fine. So what will be the correct answer here? You guys tell me in the comment box. What is the correct answer of this? This is the theme of which of the following? Summit or any expo? What? Actually, it is the theme of World Expo 2025, which is currently going on in Osaka, Japan. And the timeline is, it is going on from April 13 April 2025 to, it will be go on till around I guess 13 October, yes, 13 October 2025. Fine. And COP30, obviously it is going to be happen in Brazil. G20 summit recently conducted in India. OPEC summit is there. COP28 was conducted in what? It was conducted in UAE, Saudi Arabia. Fine. That's it for this particular question. Let's go back to our next question. Let's move back to our next question, that is related to Krishi Niveshak portal. Krishi Niveshak portal. So let's see what is it. It was launched in September 2024 by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. You can see here it is talking about Krishi Niveshak portal. Niveshak, what is Niveshak? Niveshak is type of investment. Niveshak, investment. It is talking about some Krishi related to agriculture. Then there is Niveshak, that is investment, and then there is portal. It is talking about something about related to some portal which is related to any Krishi, that is agriculture related investment. Fine. So इस तरह से चीज़ों को डिकोड करने आपको आना चाहिए, क्योंकि जब तक ये चीज़ आप नहीं समझेंगे कि व्हाट इज़ दिस टर्म इज़ अबाउट एंड, तो आगे का क्वेश्चन जो है, आगे का स्टेटमेंट पढ़ने का फिर पॉइंट ही नहीं है। आपको यहीं पे रुक के ये समझना था कि कृषि निवेशक पोर्टल एक्चुअली है क्या। कृषि मीन्स एग्रीकल्चर, निवेशक मीन्स टाइप ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट, पोर्टल ऑब्वियसली पोर्टल इज पोर्टल। लेट्स सी आवर स्टेटमेंट। द फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट इज it was launched in September 2024 by the Ministry of Agriculture Farmers Welfare. Obviously it was launched by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. It is comprehensive platform to enhance agribusiness and attract investments. Obviously it is talking about niveshak, some niveshak thing. It will be dealing with investment only, to attract investment which will improve farmers income. See, farmers income, obviously it is talking about agriculture. So ultimately agriculture is about whom? Agriculture is about farmers. Fine, it is about farmers. So investing in agriculture means promoting agriculture, means benefiting whom? Benefiting farmers. So it which will improve the farmers income, obviously attract investment. This is a very general statement if you read this statement very carefully. Fine, unless still see, अगर आपको ये नहीं भी पता कि कृषि निवेशक पोर्टल है क्या, तो by reading, going through this statement very carefully, you can decode the statement, decode the question. Fine, and this is why I am here to tell you how to decode these words or these questions. See, these statements are very correct. There is nothing here contradictory which is contradictory in nature. So that statement is correct. A and B is correct. Let's see our third statement. It aims to consolidate all central state government scheme. But we'll go through by the end of this statement. Central state government schemes into a single digital platform for easy access and streamlined investment. See, ऐसा कभी हो सकता है कि obviously it is possible, but there is no such news till date कि सारे सेंट्रल, एक तो सेंट्रल जितने सारे मिनिस्ट्री है, सारे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के जितने भी मिनिस्ट्रीज है, जितने भी स्कीम्स है, सबको एक सिंगल डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म में ले आए। ये बहुत ही बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट है एंड टिल डेट देयर हैज़ बीन नो न्यूज़ कमिंग आउट फ्रॉम देयर कि ऐसा कुछ अभी तक हुआ है। फाइन, फ्रॉम ऑल द सेंट्रल एज वेल एज स्टेट मिनिस्ट्री एज वेल, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स, मतलब स्टेट के जितने भी मिनिस्ट्रीज है उसके जितने भी स्कीम्स है, अभी तक सबको एक पोर्टल में डिजिटली, एक पोर्टल में कंसोलिडेट कर पाना ये प्रैक्टिकली मुश्किल, मतलब प्रैक्टिकली दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल, ऑल्दो इट इज पॉसिबल बट स्टिल विल मार्क दिस ऑप्शन इनकरेक्ट बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट द केस। फाइन, अगर ये बात होती कि कोई पर्टिकुलर मिनिस्ट्री की बात हो रही कि जैसे पर्टिकुलर कुछ सेक्शन या सेक्टर्स की बात हो रही, जैसे एग्रीकल्चर रिलेटेड स्कीम्स MSME रिलेटेड स्कीम्स या फिर हेल्थ रिलेटेड स्कीम्स को एक जगह कंपाइल कर लिया जाए तो वो हो सकता है। तो इस केस में यही है कि इट एम्स टू कंसोलिडेट्स ऑल सेंट्रल एंड स्टेट गवर्नमेंट स्कीम रिलेटेड टू एग्रीकल्चर, related to agriculture. I'll show you just a second. Fine. So here you can see this news was covered in our DCA in June 3rd of 2025. Fine. Here you can see the objective of this Niveshak portal was to consolidate all central and state government schemes related to agriculture investment, fine, into a single digital platform to easy access and streamline investment. And Ministry of Circular request state and ministry to identify share agriculture investment scheme for inclusion, and it was launched in C 2025 by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, aims to bring scheme from various ministry and state under one window, currently include scheme from 7 ministry. Fine. सो इसका जो प्राइमरी एम था क्या था, वो ये था कि कंसोलिडेट ऑल द सेंट्रल एंड स्टेट गवर्नमेंट स्कीम रिलेटेड टू एग्रीकल्चर इन्वेस्टमेंट टू अ सिंगल पोर्टल. दिस वाज आवर केस. फाइन. सो इसमें क्या है, इसमें एग्रीकल्चर रिलेटेड वर्ड कभी भी यूज नहीं किया गया, तो फॉर दैट रीजन विल बी मार्किंग दिस ऑप्शन इनकरेक्ट. फाइन. और जैसे ही हम इनकरेक्ट मार्क करते हैं तो एज यू कैन सी ऑप्शन इस तरह के डिज़ाइन की जाती है. जैसे सी जैसे एलिमिनेट आप करोगे, अगर आपको ये दो स्टेटमेंट नहीं भी पता, बट स्टिल यू विल बाय लॉजिक गो थ्रू दिस स्टेटमेंट एंड फाइंड आउट कि मतलब लॉजिकली दिस इज टिल डेट नॉट प्रैक्टिकली पॉसिबल और नॉट प्रैक्टिकली इम्प्लीमेंटेड. फॉर दैट रीजन आई विल मार्क दिस ऑप्शन इनकरेक्ट. सो सी, जैसे ही सी को इनकरेक्ट आप मार्क करते हैं, ऑब्वियसली करेक्ट आंसर हियर अपीयर्स itself by itself, that is option number 1 only, A and B. Fine, clear? Let's move back to our question. Go back to our next question, that is Dhurva. You guys just go through this question, I'll be right back. Fine. Fine. So Dhurva, which is recently seen in news, is associated with which of the following? This is our question. So the first option is a digital address public infrastructure DPI policy framework. That is our first option. The second one is India's surface to air missile. Then there is India's first solar mission, launch vehicle, or none of the above. Fine. So what will be the correct answer here? What is it? Dhurva. You guys tell me, what is Dhurva? What is this term is associated with? It is basically digital hub for reference and unique virtual address. So you must have got it. What is this? It is a digital address public infrastructure policy framework which provides address as a service, which means using the address data securely and safely. Using the address data securely and safely by considering the right to privacy. Fine. It is a DPI model of address policy framework. Fine. That's it. Just need to remember the name here. That is Dhruva. Let's move back to our next question, that is Crystal Crop Protection Limited, CCPL, India's leading agrochemical solution company. It is India's leading agrochemical solution company. Today announced the launch of a herbicide and insecticides, both major research driven products. CCPL has launched Rice Act. Fine. And this is for rice actually. A solution tailored especially for rice cultivation. Fine. And Gevora is there. Gevora, a next generation insecticide designed to address the rising challenge of sucking pest in cotton. What is sucking pest in cotton? It is a type of pesticides which are present in the crops of cotton. Fine. And those pesticides sucks all the nutrients and important nutrients from the cotton crop, which is essential for growing the cotton crops. Fine. So that is the concept of pest in sucking pest in cottons. So this Gevora has been introduced. Gevora and Rice Act is introduced by whom? By CCPL, that is Crystal Crop Protection Limited. This was in news. So let's see what is our question. So the question is, what is the active ingredient composition of Rice Act, the newly launched herbicide by Crystal Crop Protection Limited? This is our question. So our option are pendimethalin, which is containing the amount of 30% plus bispyribate sodium with the amount 10%. Then there is triafamone with 20% and ethoxysulfuron with 10%. So in the case of Rice Act, the chemical which is present here is triafamone with 20% and ethoxysulfuron with 10%. Fine. So here you can see in this image, you can see it is a type of herbicide. It is basically introduced for whom? For rice, containing triafamone with 20% and ethoxysulfuron with the amount 10%. Dual action root and foliage absorbed on weed control for grasses, sedges and broad leaves. Fine. And this is season long residual control in rice. That is the primary aim of this Rice Act. Then there is Gevora insecticide, target pest, white flies, jacids, aphids, used during second and third spray window. Next generation solution for sucking pest in cotton, as I said before. Fine. So that's it. These two names are very, very important for your NABARD examination. Candidates who are preparing for NABARD examination, this news is very, very important for them. Fine. Let's go back to our question, that is question number 8. This question is also very, very important. These two questions are very, very important for your NABARD examination. That is question number 7 and question number 8. Fine. So let's see what is the question here. So the question is, Ketan, Hitam, Balatino and Kintuman are varieties of which of the following? Fine. Ketan, Hitam, Balatino and Kintuman are the varieties of which of the following? This is the question. So the options are wheat, pulses, rice, pesticides or none of the above. What do you think is the correct answer here? What is these three varieties are of? They are of the varieties of wheat, pulses, rice, pesticides of none or none of the above. What will be the correct answer here? Actually, it is a variety of rice, and it is variety of rice which has recently introduced by Indonesian scientist. Fine. Here you can see. Here you can see the name are very important. You must remember this name. Here you can see ki these are special rice varieties. Fine, and they contains potential anti-cancer benefits. For that reason, this question becomes very important. The organization which the scientists are from is IRRI, Antozydent Rich, and they are potentially anti-cancer benefits. First one is Ketan hitam, that is from Indonesia, Balatino, that is from Philippines, and Kintuman, they are also from Philippines. Fine. These three rice varieties are very important. You need to remember these names. Let's go back to our question, and the next question, here the correct answer will be rice. These are the varieties of rice. Fine. Next question is question number 9. The Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation aims to track the utilization and impact of credit access programs such as Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. This initiative is a part of efforts to support enterprise formalization and financial inclusion. Fine. This efforts is to support enterprise formalization and financial inclusion. So find out the correct statement with respect to Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Launched on April 8, 2015 by Prime Minister, PMMY aimed. This launching year very important. It was launched in the year 2015 by Prime Minister. PMMY aimed to provide collateral free micro credit. Collateral free क्या होती है? जिस क्रेडिट के बदले में आपको अपना कोई भी एसेट गिरवी रखना ना पड़े. फाइन. और माइक्रो क्रेडिट का देयर इज अ लिमिट ऑफ दिस क्रेडिट कि इतने अमाउंट का एक छोटा क्रेडिट ही विल बी प्रोवाइडिंग. फाइन. सो दैट इज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ, दैट इज द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ प्रधानमंत्री मुद्रा योजना. इट वाज लॉन्च इन द ईयर 2015. Fine. To provide collateral free loans to the and micro in the form of micro credits to the small and medium enterprises. Fine. Support enterprises, obviously. This is a very general statement. When you know this date, this formation date, the launch date. Fine. The second statement, previously the loan amount was set to 10 lakh, which was later upgraded to 20 lakhs. Fine. Previously as you remember कि there were three categories. The first was Shishu, then there was Kishore and Tarun. Shishu की जो लिमिट थी was up to 50,000. Then there was Kishore 50,001 to 5 lakhs. Then there was Tarun की जो लिमिट थी वो अप टू 10 lakhs थी. 10 lakhs. फाइन. सो प्रीवियसली 3 ही कैटेगरी थे वहाँ पे, बट लेटर ऑन अ न्यू कैटेगरी वाज इंट्रोड्यूस, दैट इज तरुण प्लस, जिसकी अमाउंट बढ़ा के अप टू 20 लाख कर दी गई. द लिमिट अमाउंट अंडर दिस कैटेगरी वाज 10 to 20 लाख. फाइन. अप टू 20 लाख. और इसकी जो एलिजिबिलिटी रखी गई वो ये थी कि द एलिजिबिलिटी ऑफ दिस कैटेगरी वाज कि द पर्सन, द इंस्टीट्यूशन हु सक्सेसफुली रिपेड द अमाउंट अंडर तरुण कैटेगरी. तरुण कैटेगरी में के जो भी बोरोवर्स थे उनके लिए ये कैटेगरी इंट्रोड्यूस की गई थी कि जिन्होंने भी उस कैटेगरी का लोन रिपेमेंट सक्सेसफुली कर लिया, एंड दोज हु हैव अ वेरी गुड सिविल स्कोर आर क्वालिफाइड फॉर आर एलिजिबल फॉर तरुण प्लस कैटेगरी. फाइन. सो द टोटल लोन अमाउंट वाज सेट टू 10 lakh which was later on upgraded to 20 lakh. This is absolutely correct. Let's see our third statement. We have to find here the incorrect one. Fine. There is a total 4 category. As I told you कि there is a total 4 category, that is Shishu, Kishore, Tarun and Tarun Plus. Previously there were only 3 category, but अभी के time पे there are total 4 categories. It operates under the Ministry of MSME. See, this is a contradictory statement because here again I am telling you the same thing कि नाम को आपको स्पेशली बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट दे के पढ़ना है, ठीक है. वेन एवर यू आर रीडिंग द स्टेटमेंट, द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग हेयर इज द नेम, दैट इज द नेम ऑफ द स्कीम, प्रधानमंत्री मुद्रा योजना. व्हाट इज मुद्रा हेयर? मुद्रा इज डीलिंग विथ एनी टाइप ऑफ क्रेडिट, एनी टाइप ऑफ लोन, एंड वेन एवर सच terms comes in your mind, whenever such schemes comes in your mind, one thing that is clear, whenever this scheme deals with the credit or loans of things, these kind of things, they are under finance. Mind, one word comes in your mind is finance, so obviously they are under Ministry of Finance. They are not under Ministry of MSME. MSME से क्या करना उन्हें क्रेडिट देना है अपने इंटरप्राइजेस को, तो दे विल बी डीलिंग विथ मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस ओनली ना. सो दिस स्टेटमेंट इज इनकरेक्ट. दैट इज ऑप्शन डी इज आवर करेक्ट आंसर. वी हैव टू फाइंड द करेक्ट आंसर हियर. सो ऑप्शन नंबर डी इज द करेक्ट आंसर. इट इज अंडर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, question number 10, that is the last question of the day. Reserve Bank of India issued comprehensive direction to regulate the digital lending ecosystem. What is digital lending? Lending through digital norms. मतलब डिजिटली किसी पैसे को लेंड करना थ्रू एप्स और वेबसाइट. बहुत सारी कंपनीज ऐसी है जो मार्केट में अभी काम कर रही है जो डिजिटल लेंडिंग सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करती है. मतलब लेंडिंग की जो प्रोसेस है वो सारी जो है डिजिटली होगी. उसमें कोई ब्रांच का या फिजिकल ब्रांच का कोई भी रोल नहीं. सारे पेपर्स जो वेरीफाई किए जाएंगे ऑनलाइन ही किए जाएंगे, डिजिटल वे में की जाएंगे, और जो भी पैसे आपको क्रेडिट मिलेंगे तो ऑब्वियसली दे विल बी इन योर अकाउंट. Fine. So the Reserve Bank of India issued comprehensive direction to regulate the digital lending ecosystem with the aim of enhancing borrower protection, promoting transparency and ensuring responsible digital lending practices. Obviously कोई भी नॉर्म्स इसीलिए इंट्रोड्यूस ही की जाएगी आरबीआई से ताकि उसमें ट्रांसपेरेंसी बढ़े. एंड इंश्योरिंग रिस्पॉन्सिबल डिजिटल लेंडिंग प्रैक्टिसेस, ट्रांसपेरेंसी and protection. See, borrower protection बढ़े. Obviously कुछ norms introduce की गई है. Let's see what are the norms. The first one is consider the following statement with respect to RBI's new lending norms. The first one is all regulated financial entities. What are regulated entities? Regulated entities in here are the institution, the financial institution which are under the jurisdiction of whom? RBI. Under the jurisdiction of RBI. They are we called as regulated financial entities, and they includes banks, NBFCs and other financial institutions. Fine. Must, so in this statement all regulated financial entities must report their digital lending apps to the RBI through centralized information management system portal. This is a portal. Fine. So yes, all regulated financial entities are entitled to report their digital lending apps to whom? To the RBI through centralized information management system portal. Fine, this is the correct statement as per the new RBI guideline. The second one is all lending service provider must appoint a grievance redressal officer. Yes, this was also correct. They are told to appoint a grievance redressal officer. Fine. So this statement is also correct. The third one is financial entities must conduct enhanced due to diligence on LSP, that is lending service provider. This statement is also correct. These are the new norms of RBI to regulate the digital lending platforms. So here what will the correct answer? All are correct. Fine. So let's see some of the important highlight about this particular framework, that is digital lending framework of RBI. Fine. So here you can see कि RBI digital lending framework to enhancing borrower protection and transparency. What is the objective? Obviously to enhance borrower protection and maintain transparency. Fine. Protection and transparency. The purpose is strengthen borrower protection, promote transparency and ensure responsible digital lending. Responsible digital lending, because digital lenders are under the jurisdiction of RBI. Fine. RBI. Definition of digital lending: remote automated lending using digital platforms. दिस इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ डिजिटल लेंडिंग कि कोई भी रिमोट मतलब कहीं से भी लेंड कर सकता है, करा सकता है टू द बोरोवर्स. फाइन. ऑटोमेटेड लेंडिंग यूजिंग डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म लाइक एप्स, बेसिकली थ्रू एप्स एंड वेबसाइट. फाइन. कवर्स कस्टमर एक्विजिशन, credit assessment, loan approval, disbursement, servicing, repayment and recovery. These all are the process of a digital lending facility. Customer acquisition, acquire करते कस्टमर. क्रेडिट असेसमेंट, उनकी क्रेडिट असेसमेंट जो की जाती है कि हाउ मच ऑफ द अमाउंट उन्हें देना चाहिए कि वो उतना ही पे कर पाए. फाइन. क्या किसकी कैपेबिलिटी कितनी है, वो सब की असेसमेंट सब डिजिटली होती है. लोन अप्रूवल इज ऑल्सो डन डिजिटली. डिसबर्समेंट ऑफ द अमाउंट इज ऑल्सो डन डिजिटली. सर्विसिंग, रिपेमेंट जो नहीं मिलती, दैट इज ऑल्सो डन digitally and recovery is also done digitally. Fine. Entities covered under the new RBI digital lending framework: commercial banks, primarily urban, state and central cooperative banks, NBFCs including housing finance companies, all India financial institutions are also there. Fine. So that's it for this session, and hope you guys like the video. If you like the video, please do subscribe our YouTube channel, follow us on Telegram as well for daily updates. Thank you so much.